Welcome to the Contributor Corner for Run Radio. I'm Trina Wilcox, joined by Keisha Messina with Embrace. You've got some insight for self-starters, entrepreneurs when it comes to finding support. So tell us what you got.
Yeah, absolutely. What I wanted to talk about was finding support and kind of putting it in categories.
Okay.
I'm actually drawing inspiration from a book that I read, as well as a good friend of ours here on the Contributor Corner, Billy Wiegand. Um, when we were all meeting about this, she talked about this really cool concept of presenting yourself in shades of black, gray, and white. And
Yeah.
I loved that concept, and I'll get into that a little bit, but I wanted to tie that into your support network and how you um, bring those different types of support people into those shades of your life.
Okay.
So it's kind of a neat concept. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is those different categories of support. And I'm looking at my notes, so I'm looking away a lot.
You're
Sorry.
fine.
But the first source that I drew all of this information from was a book that I read over the summer called "Stay Sexy and Don't Get Murdered." It's that might sound familiar to some people out there if they're a true crime podcast fan. It's from Karen Kilgariff and Georgia Hardstark, who are the hosts of My Favorite Murder. You can get that anywhere that you listen to podcasts, and they also have their own podcast network called the Exactly Right Network that has a ton of really cool podcasts on it, but a lot of it's true crime based. Um, so these are two best friends. They got together, they wrote this book, and it's really kind of like a memoir slash self-help type book about how to stay sexy and not get murdered. Um, so it's a fun read. I was laughing, I was crying. But one of the things that Karen Kilgariff specifically mentions is you need to have five core friends. She's a very social person. She's a stand-up comedian. She's an actress. She's a writer. So she had talked about having this huge circle of friends and how that was always very, very important to her. But she didn't realize that she was treating that entire circle of friends as if they were all those really tight core friends. And
Right.
she wasn't understanding that sharing some of those darker shades of her life was chasing those people away because they weren't core friends. They weren't that support network
Right.
she needed. So that's one of the categories. But the other categories I'm going to start with first, and we'll move into that, and I'll talk about the black, white, and gray. Um, so the first one that I think is really important is your spouse or your partner, your other half, whoever you spend most of your time with. If you're going to be an entrepreneur, you're going to start your own business. You're not going to be home a lot. And even when you are home, you're not home. You're always working. You're never not working as an entrepreneur. And so having a spouse or a partner that's very supportive of that and helps you keep things together in your home and around your life, or even just tells you that you're doing a good job when you really don't feel like you are, is super duper important. So if you're thinking of starting your own business, talk with your spouse about it at length and like set up things um, so that they know how to support you and check in with them often. Don't hold it all back. I'm real bad about that. My husband is sitting here next to me, like nodding along, like, yeah, we could have had some more conversations.
Mhm.
Um, and then we move to those five core friends. So like pick those five people that are your ride or die, the people that you know that you can um, share anything and everything that you need to, and stick with that. Because then your circle is going to start to get wider. You're going to have your work besties. And this is where I'll start to talk about those different shades a little bit. So the black shades are your most personal parts of yourself, your true self that you only show this closest to you, where you're talking about like personal trauma, your deep truths, things like that. Only share those things with your spouse and your five core friends. When you're moving your circle out wider, your shades are going to get lighter.
Mhm.
And if Billy ever talks about this, I'm sure she'll correct me if I'm incorrect. This is totally her concept, and I love it. So gray is still pretty personal, but not as deep and dark, not as kind of scary almost
Yeah.
as that black shade. So your work besties, those are people that you are with every day. Maybe you have a regular day job while you're working to start your own business, or maybe you found some people close to you to start your new business with, and you're going to be in contact with them all the time. And so it's really important that to get the support that you feel like you need from those people, that you can be open with them. So those shades of gray are important. If you've got things going on in your life that you need help with, or that you just need to take a step back from the business, maybe those people are close enough with you to share that information. Um, and then you have your networking people. You and I both know we've been networking quite a bit, and we know that there are some of those networking people who may become part of your core five, or who may end up working with you. But for the most part, they're really the widest part of that circle. And while you want to be personable, I don't think that you want to get super personal with all of those
Mhm.
people, because unfortunately, what can happen is they'll take that information and use it as a reason not to help your business or work with your business. Sometimes they don't always see the human side of it. So that's your white shade, and that's the clean, professional version of yourself. That's still you. You're still personable, you're still approachable, you're still uniquely yourself, but just kind of shiny. So that's those are the categories of support, and those networking people are just as important sometimes as your close people, because that's where you get your resources, that's where you get your connections. But you just want to be careful about oversharing. And I think that's a mistake that a lot of us make, because we find people that we can relate to so quickly and so easily. And I think we try to get really personal before we know that they're a
Yeah.
core person.
Yeah, that is great advice. Thank you so much for sharing. Looking forward to our next visit. You can learn more about Embrace and Keisha and all of our collaborators anytime, and listen to at runradio.net. Thank you.
Thank you.